Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. Erev Tov, everyone. We are continuing with Klal Vav Halacha Tet. Jimmy Ben Simon asked me a question whether or not Lashon Hara also applies to Goyim. We did address this. The answer is that yes and no. No, in respect that it's not halachically prohibited, but I think what we explained before is that once you permit yourself to start speaking Lashon Hara about Goyim, what does that mean for the rest of your day? What stops you from then speaking Lashon Hara about others? The pasuk says, "Lo telech rachil be'amecha." Right? Amecha is your nation. That's amongst your people. But nevertheless, you start speaking about Goyim, then your whole day it won't take long before you'll overstep your boundary and then begin speaking about your nation. So that's the simple, I think, most appropriate answer to give. So halacha tet in klal vav, keshem sheshayach isur kabbalat lashon hara be'ima mesaper siper lo al echad she'asa ata davar sheno hagun. Just like the prohibition to accept lashon hara applies when Reuven tells Levi that Shimon acted inappropriately, shenitztavinu azeh shlo leachlit belibenu she'adavar emet, because we are obligated to refrain from concluding in our hearts that this is true. Like we spoke in Halacha Aleph. Ken shayach gam isur kabbalas lashon hara le'inyan she'ar chelkei isur lashon hara. So too, the prohibition applies to other forms. Kegon levazoto b'maaseh avotav. For example, we said above that one cannot disparage another about the action of someone's parents, or b'maasav harishonim, or with regards to someone's past misdeeds. As long as a person right now is acting properly. You cannot believe a report about someone's lack of wisdom or intellectual deficiencies. Whether that is in Torah matters or whether that is in worldly matters. Like we spoke about in Klal 4 and 5. And similar cases. B'chol davar shehu gnut alav, because any manner that is derogatory about Shimon, shenitztavinu gam ken shelo yitkabel divrei hamesaper lefanenu, which we've been commanded not only just to speak, but also not to accept, leitbazot al yedei zeh be'enenu et mi shenemru alav, which would view the subject Shimon unfavorably, and that is not allowed. Klalosh davar, the general rule is kol davar sheyesh al mesaper isur avur diburo, regarding any report where a speaker would violate lashon hara by saying it, yesh ala mekabel isur avur kabbalato. There is likewise a prohibition upon the receiver to accept a report. The scenario here says, according to Be'er Maim Chaim, that it's also forbidden to believe written lashon hara. Therefore, if someone unintentionally read something negative or derogatory about someone else, whether in a newspaper or social media or an email or a text message, he should be careful not to believe that information. Okay, that certainly happens a lot in the non-Jewish world, in the media and the newspapers, where people feel they write freely in editorials. That's what editorials are so famous, because one guy's opinion, he decides to put down somebody else or some policy. Okay, that's his opinion. And now, again, when it has to do with his opinion about other people, whether you want to believe it or not is up to you. But certainly, when it's lashon hara about someone else, then you cannot do so. No, yeah, very hard to get into politics. Definitely. Nachon.
You cannot be a journalist.
Or journalist. Journalist, you're writing about it, so it's you're the speaker as a journalist, and but even the reader.
That says a journalist.
Yeah, Nachon.
What?
Right.
Same thing. Editorial journalist. Same thing.
an author?
Well, it depends the type of author, right? Like,
Okay, so
there's a lot of good authors and kosher authors that write books all the time. But again, I think journalists would be the problematic one, if, especially, when it comes to Israeli media, and where you're dealing with Jews, and you're looking to make news.
Yeah, if you talk Lashon Hara about a fantasy character, I don't think you would.
Yeah, fantasy characters don't count. Okay. Halacha Yud. Af al pi sheberarnu, even though we've shown the Kabbalat Lashon Hara dehainu lachlit belibo shadavar emet, that accepting Lashon Hara, which means concluding in your heart that it's true, is asur min Torah. Mikol makom amru, nevertheless, the Chachamim state in the Gemara, de lachush mihu ba'eh, that one should still be mindful of a possibility that it's true. What does that mean? Be'ura davar. This is the explanation. Reuven, let's say, tells Levi something about Shimon, negative. Levi is allowed to suspect that there is a possibility of truth. Only insofar that you are protecting yourself from Shimon, so he doesn't suffer any damage from Shimon's hands. However, when it comes time for Levi's general perception about Shimon, okay, then he still has to view Shimon as a righteous individual, as a tzaddik, but just as someone who has not done anything wrong, without considering any possibility that it's true. Because halacha says that we have to assume that a person is in chazakav kashrut, that he's in good standing, unless you have definitive proof otherwise. Therefore, therefore, even though he heard this negative report about Shimon, he's still obligated lehetiv imanidon, to act nicely with this person, with Shimon. In regards to all kindnesses that the Torah obligates us to do, you lend him money, you give him charity, so on and so forth. Because why should Shimon's reputation be tarnished just because of Lashon Hara that was said about him? There's a Haggah over here that we're not going to get to today. We'll see it tomorrow. The Torah permitted Levi to be mindful of the Lashon Hara to protect himself and others from Shimon. Therefore, the authorities write that the license for Levi to suspect this information applies only when one is liable to suffer harm from Shimon. If he fails to hear negative reports about, if he fails to pay attention to that negative report. However, this matter concerning a case where someone else is liable to get harm, that requires in-depth explanation. And he says over here, look in these places. With respect to all other matters, it's forbidden to pay any attention to the Lashon Hara and give it any credence whatsoever. So I guess in a situation might be when speaking about someone who has a trade and this guy Shimon, he's a horrible electrician. Someone's really speaking bad about his type of work. However, so now to protect yourself. Okay, I don't want to believe it. I don't believe it's a horrible exorcism. But if I need electrical work, so maybe that will cross my mind not to hire this guy Shimon. Not that anyway he's a bad guy, okay, or anything else beyond that. But I'm going to protect myself. So therefore, I'm not going to hire Shimon for electrical work, given the information that I heard. And if someone also asks me for an electrician, I may not recommend Shimon, given the information that I heard. But that's protecting myself and my friend. But to believe anything else beyond that would be asur. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue next time.